and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. Hello, my name is Seth. By the way, if you're new to this show, this is the show where we talk about all stuff AI. If you're working on cool stuff, I want to know about it. If you are doing cool stuff with AI, I also want to know about it. We're going to figure out a way to get your comments into the AI show, maybe even in a way you can actually hear them. I was thinking about that the other day. What if we could make it so that you can go to our website or something and then like record here's what I think about AI kind of thing, you know? I think that'd be great. Okay, so today on the AI show, let me see if I can't get the, let's get my little blackboard here. Today on the AI show, number one, we have my friend Jennifer Marsman. You know what? I'm looking at this. Let me zoom in here. I mean, this tells me I should have been a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Feels like I should have been a doctor here. We're going to talk about GPT-5. And what's cool about this thing is that with GPT-5, it's kind of a cool model. It's a little bit different. And Jennifer Marsman gets into like how it's different. And then she also is going to tell us a little bit about how it works. And so there's some actual examples there. So that's the first half of the AI show this week, Jennifer Marsman, GPT-5. And then number two, we're going to talk about Kinfey is going to talk about SLMs. And what's cool is that all of this stuff happens locally, which to me is really, really cool. So we have Jennifer Marsman, GPT-5, Kinfey Lo talking about SLMs and how to run these things locally, which is super cool. You know, and the thing about these models that's really cool is that for me, it feels like it's like the next evolution of computation where we do not have to have full determinism to get this stuff working, you know, when I say this stuff, I mean software. Now I can use regular language and then get the computer to do the things that we want. And so I thought, without further ado, why not turn it over to Jennifer Marsman now, who is going to tell us all about GPT-5. Take it away. You're not going to miss this episode of the AI show where we talk all about GPT-5, what you need to know. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI show. We're talking about all about GPT-5, what you need to know with my friend Jennifer Marsman. Jennifer, it's been so long. How you doing?
I know, Seth. It's great to see you. How are things?
Oh, you know, I can't complain. But here's the thing. For people who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself and then I'll get to who's their thing before we get to that.
Very nice. So my name is Jennifer Marsman. I'm a principal engineer in the office of the CTO at Microsoft. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is kind of really testing the new models as they come out. So one of the things I've done recently is kind of an exploration of GPT-5. So I put some code out on a public repo, which I'll share with you at the end, but I just wanted to walk you through some of the scenarios of things that I think are particularly cool about GPT-5.
All right, so now here's the thing part. GPT-5 came out. What makes it different? And that's the first thing. And then once we talk about the differences, then we can get into like looking at what the differences are.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, like some of these other models, GPT-5 is a family of models. So it's not just a single model, but an entire family of models. So there's like a mini, a nano, and a full version within there. Another thing that is interesting about GPT-5 is that before GPT-5, we kind of had the GPT class of models, and then we had like the O1, O3, like O star class of models, right? And what made the O star models different was that they were reasoning models. So they were using under the covers where we couldn't necessarily always see it, but they were using a chain of thought reasoning to be able to solve more complex questions than you could get with the GPT model at the time. Now, what's cool about GPT-5 is that it's kind of marrying these two together. And so a lot of times from some of the public endpoints where you may call GPT-5, there's actually some model routing that can happen, which can direct you to either a reasoning or a non-reasoning version of GPT-5 on the back end. So that's one of the things that's super cool. And then, of course, there's been improvements in the capabilities as well. So we'll talk about all of that.
So let me see if I understand it. So the O3 reasoning models would do like a chain of thought, and the O star ones.
Yeah.
GPT-5 sort of builds upon that by being able to route to other models that maybe it thinks it needs to do reasoning, maybe it thinks it needs to do something easy. Is that the gist of it?
So let's clarify. So it depends on how you're calling the model, right?
I
So
see.
if I'm calling the API, then I am calling a specific model. So I could call, for example, the GPT-5 kind of reasoning models, which would be the GPT-5, the GPT-5 mini, and the GPT-5 nano. But then there's also a GPT-5 chat version, which is kind of the non-reasoning one that's also available. And so if you go to like an endpoint like Copilot or things like that, then when you call what's the GPT-5 experience, it may be doing some auto switching behind the scenes. Given the query that you give it, there is some logic that decides, like a really small classifier that says, hey, is this a good thing for reasoning or a non-reasoning model? And then it routes it to the right GPT-5 on the back end. Now, when you're calling the API, you can actually get the exact same behavior because there's something new called the model router. And so when you call the model, actually, it's not new, right? We
Yeah.
introduced it at Build a couple of years ago, but or not a couple of years ago, a little bit ago.
Yeah.
But now what we've added to it, like what came out in the last release of Model Router, is that it routes between the GPT-5 models as well now. So you can get GPT-5 reasoning and non-reasoning in there as well. So that's a great endpoint where you may want to like save a little money. Like maybe you have some, chat where it's just going to be, hey, how you doing? Kind of questions where the tokens that you use on a reasoning model would make it super expensive, but you have more complex things as well. So dynamically based on the prompt, if you call like the model router, for example, it will make a decision on should I route this to reasoning or non-reasoning.
I see. And so when you're having the
Yeah.
full chat experience online, there's some goodness happening in the back end. You
Hmm.
can use that as well through the API, but otherwise you can just call the model straight or through model router.
Exactly. Yep,
Okay.
you got it.
See,
Yeah.
this was confusing to me, and so I'm so glad you're here. Is there something you can show us to give us
Yes,
like a flavor of
of
what's going on?
course. All right, so all of this code is live. I just kicked it off, so it may or may not actually be done running yet. So what I'm actually going to do is jump over to this where I have it filled, and then I'll walk you through some of these, and then we'll jump back because it was taking a second
Let's
there.
do it.
So what I have right here is some very simple, just setting up environment variables and pulling this in here. You can go through and look through this. I'll share my repo at the end where I have all of these. But this is just pulling in. I'm using the default, I'm using Entra ID, which is more secure. So I'm doing, I have this set to true. And then I'm AZ login after that so that I do that. But you can also switch, make this false and use API key instead. And then I just have some helper methods. So I'm kind of looking if you're using API key versus Entra. And then GPT-5 actually works with the responses API as well as the chat completions API. So I set up clients for each of those just to kind of show that they all work so people can use whatever version they want. And then I have simple things that call each of those, the responses API, the chat completions API. And then I have one that calls the model router as well, just to kind of show that at the end too. All right, so then we saw chat completion up there, we saw model router, and then here's responses API, and then I have a version that works with images as well. So all of those just helper methods. I'm going to skip a few of these. I just throw these in there to show that you can use both the responses API and chat completions, but this isn't very interesting, so I'm going to skip some
By the
of
way,
this stuff.
just a little coda here. Responses versus completions. What's the big difference? I
Yeah.
try to look at it and I didn't see a huge
Yeah. So
difference.
this has been out for a while. The responses API isn't new, but I think it was announced when we first did the reasoning models, but
Mhm.
it's a little bit closer to like what you would get with the assistance API. So a little bit more of that stuff is kind of managed for you. So it's like a step away from completions, but responses is kind of the future way of looking. So I tend to use responses API. More often than chat completions with GPT-5, just because I know that's going to be the thing going forward.
Okay, cool. Good to
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
for the coda.
yeah. Oh no, no problem at all. Okay, so I'm gonna skip. This is kind of interesting, but like there's some different things right here. There's a new, if you don't want very verbose output, there's this low version, but that's not as interesting. Let's jump to this because this one's a little more interesting. So, I wanted to talk about like sometimes when you are having this conversation, you want something to be very well reasoned, but you want a more succinct answer. You don't want to be verbose. So what I did here is I have another little pretty printing helper method. And I know both of us both had children leaving home recently. Seth
I
and I were
know.
talking before we started recording. And so when I was in that frame of mind when I was writing this demo, so I wrote an emotional poem about a daughter leaving home for college is my prompt.
Great. Now you're going
And
to
then
start the waterworks for both of us. What's
I
the
know. We
matter
can't
with
read them.
us?
I'm just going to show you really fast, but we're not going to stop and read them because we will both start crying.
Okay.
But they, so I have a little set here of low, medium, and high, and then I cycle through each one of them and show what it looks like. And the pretty printing gives you this nice little purple and how many tokens. So you see one with kind of the low, so we have a less verbose response. Here's low, and that was 434 tokens. And I'm not going to read it, but
Yeah,
oh my
I
God.
can't read that
I
stuff.
know, we can't read
What
it
are you
right now.
doing to me?
Yeah, I know. And then medium right here. So you see that got up to like around 800 tokens, and then we had a high version, which was almost 1,300 tokens. And so I'm not going to read these, but you guys can read those. Pause at your leisure and go through and make mistakes.
Yeah, I can't read those.
Okay, yep, we're going to skip that.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you saw how you could, and there's a lot of times, Seth, where I've been like struggling because like let's say you want to use reasoning, so you want reasoning turned on because you want to ask a complex query. So reasoning effort is like one parameter you can mess with, but then you may want a succinct answer. So now you can kind of mess with the reasoning level, that reasoning effort that we see here. Reasoning effort is separate than how verbose the end result is for output tokens.
Now, is this
You can
specific to
manage the number of
GPT-5?
reasoning tokens and the number of output tokens separately.
I see. Now, is this specific? Sorry to interrupt. Is this specific to GPT-5 or is it just?
It is. So these are
Okay,
new. So the
I see.
what's new in GPT-5 is that they added one level, like the I believe or this is new. This verbosity. I'm not actually sure if it's verbosity or verbosity when we say it like that, but that's new. And then the reasoning effort I think was there before. But
Okay.
we added minimal. The minimal is new. Like before it was just low, medium, high, and minimal was new with GPT-5.
This is cool.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to skip a couple of these too. You can use custom tools. You can do stuff. All of this is in my public repo. So go through and like do all of these in your leisure. But I know you and I have a set amount of time here. So the next thing I wanted to do is do playing games with a web front end. So one of the things, like if Satya came to me right now and said, Jennifer, I need a GPT-5 demo, like what's the coolest thing that it can do? Honestly, one of the things I've been most impressed with is if you say, hey, I want a single page of HTML, like just give me a complete program that does like something fairly sophisticated, like all in one go. So this is a single prompt that I'm sending it, and I'm saying I want a playable game of checkers and a single page of HTML. I'm going to make them not the normal colors, right? So make them blue and pink. Pink always goes first. Human controls this. So I just made up some basic rules here. And then I'm saying, give me instructions on how to move the pieces in the UI, just because I don't know what it's going to do exactly. And I want a clean, simple UI. And this output this, I set my number to 1. So this will be checkers 1. So if I go here to where my output directory is, let's go to checkers 1. Did I make a copy of it? Oh, dear. Let's open this guy up. All right.
Wow.
So it generated this. So it's a
That's
nice
insane.
kind of UI. It gave me some things. So let's just go ahead and try to play this, I guess. I'm going to go here first, maybe. Let's do that.
Wait, it even does all the like.
It's highlighting. Yeah, it's like what are the valid
Jeez.
moves are highlighting. Or at least when I touch this is a valid move. When I touch this highlights as a valid move. Woo! Isn't that cool?
And
So now I can try to do this, but this guy can get me. Let's do it anyway. I want to kind of give up the. Yeah. Okay.
so it even built the algorithm to do the.
It did all of this.
That's
Yes.
not an
So
easy algorithm. Like I'm thinking of how to
no.
build this in my head, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that would take some
Yeah.
time.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna just keep going for as long as I can here. Yes. Great. That's fine. Oh, double jump. Darn it. I didn't see that one. Okay. So I'm trying to just get to the king. See
Uh-huh.
if I can get it to king me, but like this guy's gonna get me here. Let me see if I can back this guy up to support me. Oh, I have to jump you. Nice. Okay. Here and
And
here.
it just wrote this all in one
It
shot.
wrote this all in a single prompt. Ah, okay, now I can make it. Let's see if I get when I get to the king. I just want to show that. Ah, I see how it turned to a little K, and
Oh
now the
my good.
rules change, and I can go this way. So, like, really, really cool. So, like,
uh,
again, a single prompt, we just made a complete like working game, and I've done this with a number of different things as well. So that was just one example. If you jump back to my code, I think I did. Sudoku didn't work quite as well, but there was some Sudoku as I was playing with. I was like trying to generate online quizzes, so I said, write a quiz of like 10 multiple choice questions where it sorts you into one of the Hogwarts houses, like see how that works. And like these things are all like really, really good. So it's amazing just kind of the level that you get from like a single prompt. So the like complete end-to-end game is one of the things that I'm most impressed with.
Wow,
Um
that's cool.
it's
Like,
really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm gonna skip through some of these things here. Here's another one. So this is another problem that I used a lot with reasoning models. This was a real life problem, Seth. My dog, like I had to take him to the emergency room once,
Oh no.
late at night, and they sent me away with 3 medicines, and they said one medication needs to be taken twice a day, another medication needs to be taken 3 times a day, but it can't be taken within 2 hours of the first medication. And then there's another medication that can be taken at the same time as this one, but blah, 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 blah. And I came home and literally I was like, what? Like, help me,
Oh
please,
my god.
because like that was just a lot, especially when it was like a middle of the night thing with the dog. And so like I literally came home and I threw the problem at like GPT-5, or this was actually happened a while ago. I threw it at GPT-4, but it was like, give me like it's a constraint satisfaction problem, right? So I'm like, here's the thing, like just do this and see how it works. And so it actually does a great job. It takes the two that are supposed to be done twice a day. It spaces them 12 hours apart, which is optimal, and then it spaces these all very nicely. A 10, a 4, and 11 p.m. for the other one, and they're all within the 2-hour boundaries and very good. So, like, this was so helpful to me for that.
That
And
is
then,
very helpful. I mean,
isn't
just
that
like
cool?
you know how
Yeah,
let me put our phrases out here. Let me put
yeah.
because there's like problems sometimes where we just have like a brain because we're
It
tired or hungry.
you
Putting it into
know,
this is going to be so helpful.
That's the way to do it. Like, there are sometimes that even if it wasn't completely right, like, I could just at least have something to start with to,
Yes.
like, check the answer and then be like, "Okay, this is good." So, like, that's another one that I was a big fan of. Now, the other cool thing about GPT-5 is that it does support out of the box the same modalities as we got with GPT-4o. So, we have image understanding by default, in the first version. So, I wanted to try this on a couple of image things. So let me show you like what I'm actually doing here. If we open up another window. So I am passing in this image. So it's a screenshot of a Wordle game that I was playing. And you see that there's not, that many options yet left. I think it could be like, oh, it can't even be Reigns because the S can't be there.
Yeah.
So I think it might even have to be right. So it wasn't the hardest. I purposely chose an easier Wordle puzzle just to see if it could get it like in one thing. But remember that it has to do all of that image extraction. It has to have the OCR of understanding all the letters. It has to know the colors and what each color means. And it has to know the positions, which has typically been hard. And the only thing I did was pass in that one screenshot, and then my prompt was, what is a good next word to guess in this Wordle puzzle? And it came up with resin,
Ooh,
which is fabulous, like
I would have
in
never
one
got that.
go. That is really good because
Yeah.
resin, if we just go back and look, Resin is perfect. Like it uses all of the letters in the place that doesn't work. So like that, I was like super impressed with that because I have a Wordle talk that I did a while ago, and like this used to be way harder, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Go look on the internet, find my Wordle talk, and you'll see like me trying to do it with earlier versions these image understanding models, and it was not this easy. Here's another one. This was another thing. So another thing that you and I know has been hard historically for image understanding models is counting, like counting things in an image.
Yes.
That's always been a tricky problem. So what I did here was I found a thing of the royal family. This is an image of the royal family, and if you count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people in this image. Okay. So what I said here is, okay, if we do have, my prompt was just 70 gifts are to be distributed equally among the people in the photo, and the remainder should be given to charity. How many gifts will each person get? How much is given to charity? And again, I know I just wanted a random picture with a lot of people in it and happened to choose the royal family. I don't think this scenario necessarily makes a lot of sense, but you can think about like, okay, if there's a birthday party and you buy a thing of candy and there's
Yeah.
70 pieces of candy, and you must have the same number in every goodie bag, Seth, or you're going
Yeah.
to get in
Yeah. I know.
trouble. Your
Yeah.
kids are going to give it
Otherwise,
to you. Yeah,
kids will
you can't,
be like,
you
hey,
can't
they
mess up
got
there.
3 and I got 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You will get in trouble. So they all have to be excellent. And then the remainder given to charity goes into my mouth. But there you go. So that's maybe a scenario that's a little more sense. But it correctly figured out there are 8 people in the photo. So it did the correct counting. And then it was even able to do the math, the corresponding math here. So each person gets 8 gifts because that's the full total thing. And then 70 minus 8 times 8, 64 is 6 gifts left. So really, really like, yay. Like I was so impressed that it kind of was able to do all of that like in one go in a single pass of the model, right?
And historically,
really, really
like I've never trusted these models to do math because it's a language model, but it somehow is able through language
getting
to do
better and
math.
better. It's getting better and better. It's really impressive.
This is
And
cool.
then Sakib, right? So, dear friend, who is blind, and so when I look at these image understanding models, one of the things I always think about is, like, how well could this do to kind of help us? So, what I have here is an image of like a big kitchen, and I said, okay, I'm blind, and this is the view in front of me. I want a snack of an apple with peanut butter and a glass of milk. We keep the peanut butter in the pantry. Give detailed instructions on how to do this. So like if I couldn't see and I was in a new place, like maybe that was the office or something in a little snack area, like what would you do? And so it's describing the scene to me here. This is not as great. It doesn't always do something like this. I don't like that it's like, if this is different, let us know. But I guess things can change. So it's like step forward to the island until you hit a stool. So that's pretty good right there. Now there are apples over here, and then the pantry is back here is where I was assuming the peanut butter was. So let's look and see how well it did. Get a cutting board and a plate from the island, walk around its backside with the wall towards the cook till you touch the back counter. Feel for a wooden cutting board I didn't even see the wooden cutting board. Straight up. Oh, this one right here. I guess the backslash. Nice. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it did it.
Oh no, it did the wrong thing.
Yeah, did it? No, it got it. Get an apple. So did it find the apple? Turn towards the left wall, right? Okay, that's correct. There's a 2-tier fruit stand. It was 2-tier. Yay. So you can see that you can get the idea. I don't want to spend too much time, but this is like really, really cool. Like I love when we can use AI for good and find compelling scenarios like this that can actually make a difference and help people. And I even love this ending. Like, want me to stay with you step by step? Say next when you complete a step, and I'll guide you through the following one.
That's nice.
Isn't that cool? Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to show real briefly, because I know we're probably at time already, but I just have to show you model selector too, is the having the actual model selector. So this is what we get with GPT, again, with GPT-5, when we call that, we're always going to get GPT-5 directly, and that's what I was doing above for most of the prompts, which had reasoning capabilities. But if I call model selector, so you just do the model router, the value of that, it's another model that you can just select in Foundry. And so now if I call that as the model instead of GPT-5 directly, it will choose between various models. And so I did a simple prompt of hello, which will choose between like the various GPT-5 models. And notice that it chose the smallest one, which was really smart because you don't need a super like amazing model to answer a greeting, right? So it gave me this response back and it used the nano, which was great. Now for the checkers prompt, I was actually hoping it would use a slightly more advanced one, but here it did choose to use Nano again in this thing. We could actually test this one and see if it works or not. I want to jump back to the one that I started running here at the beginning. Let's see how this one did. Okay, so this one actually did what I wanted. So I used a slightly different prompt right here. I have a couple other complicated prompts here. So here's another like a puzzle where I have a 4x4 grid, and then we have like constraints here where these things can't be together, these things can't be together, and then explain step by step usually helps prompt it to use a better reasoning model here.
Makes sense.
And then
Yeah.
and then here I also have find the largest palindrome that's a product of two things. And I chose that one for the demo because it's easiest to explain and check. Then this one takes a little bit more time to check. This one, so hello, we use Nano, which was great. And then here we actually noticed that it used Mini, right? So yay. And these won't be, 100% right. It won't always route to the same thing 100%, but it's getting better and better. So really, really cool here that it used Mini to solve a harder problem. And then I did the same thing here with the images as well, where I had a simple describe this image and it used the Nano one. And in this case, it chose the wrong thing. It chose Nano and River. I don't think would River work? Let's go back to the RI. No, it would not, because we know that E is not there and we know that I is not there. So actually, I think it needed a slightly better model for the River one, but we probably did not train on Wordle puzzles.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like when we,
yeah.
I think people are like, oh, I got it wrong. No, well, these are tools. And as developers, we need to harness the tools to be like, if it gets things wrong, we need to figure out a way to change them. Yeah.
Exactly, my friend. So, and honestly, they're getting better and better too. And so that can be a really cool way to see, or you can test it, or you can call it directly. Like if it was actually a Wordle game where I was only using it to solve Wordle, then I would just directly call the model that I know works very well for that.
Well,
so
this is awesome.
So cool, so cool. So let me just share with you the repo. So if you would like to try all of these, so you'll know that this was not cherry picked, that I literally like ran these or was running them and jumping to one that I had run before. This was all just real code. You can get it yourself at github.com/JenniferMarsman/GPT-5 research.
And I put it right below so people can get it. And if you want to learn about OpenAI and Azure AI Foundry models, that is in there as well. Jennifer, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. There was a lot of questions I had about GPT-5, and you've cleared up a lot of them, and you showed me some of the capabilities. It's been really cool. Thanks for being with us, my friend.
Yes, always good to see you. Take care.
Take care, and thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about GPT-5, what you need to know with my friend Jennifer Marsman. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. She's the best. We got to have her on more. She just showed up and we did it. It was great. So it's good to have that. The cool thing about GPT-5 is how it can be used online, when it selects different models versus how you can use it locally. Not locally, but in your own APIs. It was cool about that. I also like the examples. They got me a little teary-eyed there, I'm not going to lie. So, so that was GPT-5 with Jennifer Marsman. Now let's turn it over to Kinfey, who's going to talk all about small language models, in particular, the Phi series of models. It turns out it was a lot more than I thought. Take it away. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about how to unlock the power of small language models with my friend Kinfey. Make sure you tune in. Hello, welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about unlocking the power of small language models with my friend Kinfey. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Seth. I'm very happy because this time it's very early, but I think I'm very, very happy to show how the small language model in AI show. Yeah.
I love it. So I know it's early for you. We have a little time zone difference. Tell us who you are and what you do so people can get to know you.
I think I am the current rookie. My task is to finish some small language model, introduce a small language model and small language model technology, and build edge AI application with a small language model. Just we say why many people to talk about LLM, but I say, oh, if you do some you find some SLM, maybe you love that. Okay. Some people say, okay, Kinfey, SLM will replace LLM. I say no, they are the same. Please tell me, you love that. I will tell you how to work together. Yeah.
I love it. And by the way, you work in developer relations at Microsoft. Is that correct? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
So
a colleague. Okay. Yeah.
So let's start with this question. This question, and this is the one because I think Phi is more than just a single model. Is that right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yes. I want to. I will introduce 5.4 and 5 family here. You can see this slide. 5 family is very very cool. You can use 5 to finish different scenario. Before 2 years, we published the 5 first version. The first version, we just focused the coding, and now the 5 can use many things. Just like the visioning, we just like the vision, just like the audio, just like the advanced reasoning. This is very very cool. We have many new models with 5. Just here, you can use the 5.4 multi-model to finish the vision and audio. Of course, and this time many people to focus the reasoning model. We build the 5.4 mini reasoning model and 5.4 reasoning model to help you to finish some reasoning scenario. Of course, how to deploy that? You can use our Azure AI Foundry to do this, and you can download it in Hugging Face, and you can use it in GitHub models. Of course, you can use our new Foundry local to deploy the 5 in your Windows and Mac OS environment. And now, different tools to support the 5. You can see NVIDIA LIM, Olama, and LM Studio can support the 5. Of course, you can use our tools just like the Visual Studio Code AITK extension to do this. So this time, you not only focus the model, you can use 5 to build application very easily. You can use the API, you can use different framework to do that. Maybe you just download the model and use your tool, lab tools to do this. Okay,
yeah,
Seth?
and that's amazing. Like, because one of the things that, and I'm glad you're here because I used to just think of Phi as like a language model that does one thing, but here you can see it does a ton of different things, as you're seeing up here. But it's faster now too. Has there been architecture changes to make this better?
Yes, in our new 5.4 mini flash reasoning model, we have the new architecture. Because we want to deploy the SLM in Edge AI, we need to show the low latency and good performance. So SampleY give you the good performance. Like here, SampleY is an innovation deep learning architecture whose core emulation lies in the industry of the game memory unity. Just like here, we need to talk about 3 topics: a self-decoder, a flash attention layer, and cross decoder. Because we want to reduce the computation and do more things and long context support. So this time, SampleY can give you this because self-decoder, it can reduce the computation and compress, or use the member to let you to efficient sequence modeling capability. Another is the full attention layer. I think mechanism of the self-decoder let you to completion the sparse attention. The last is the cross decoder. Achieve the attention balance between the efficient and performance. You can see the Hugging Face benchmark to do this. I think many people say, okay, well, 5.4 can give you the different experiments or different things. Just like here, we can you can see the benchmark. Okay, low latency before. We can put the low latency. You can see the good performance here. You can compare the 5.4 mini reasoning and 5.4 mini flash reasoning. You can see the low latency is good. Maybe this is a very good idea to deploy the 5.4 mini reasoning flash reasoning model to the edge devices. You can let to build the edge AI. But some people say, okay, I get the low latency 5.4 mini flash reasoning model, but which scenario is good? Maybe we can see the scenario. You can see something just like education, some long context or some support here. You can see the benchmark. Okay, some mobile maybe we need the low latency. Education, of course, the QA. You have some question to ask the AI teacher. Okay, it can give you a very good answer as soon as possible. Maybe this is good. Another is the long context. You can support this. You use this to finish many document or some question is good. Yeah. So I think this is new architecture to let you to choose the 5.4 mini flash reasoning in different scenario. Yeah.
So just to recap, because I want to make sure people are getting what you're saying, the Flash 4 reasoning model uses Samba Y, which allows it to do those three things like the attention mechanism, decoder, etc. It has better throughput, lower latency, so that it can be used in edge-based applications, like, for example, mobile here, education, or even with a longer context, because these models have a pretty big context too. Is that right?
Yes. I think this time long context many people to focus because many people think okay, SLM can not do the long context jobs, but you use the Samba Y can let you to do more long context to do this, to let more application can use 5.4 mini flash reasoning in edge. Yes.
What's the context window for 5.4 mini reasoning with Flash, the Flash version?
Is for the you can use the 4096 long context. Yeah.
That makes sense. So here's a question. And this is the part where I kind of get lost sometimes, and maybe you can help me. How does one deploy these models? Because now it's like it's a small model, it's not as big, you can put it on a device. How does one actually do that?
I think we want to if you want to deploy the 5, not only the new 5 model, many 5 models, we want to deploy it in the edge devices. We can use different tools to help us to quantization and conversion. The first. The second, we need to deploy it in different scenarios. Just like here, we can use the some popular tools, just like the Llama CPP or the VLM to help us to quantization and conversion on the 5 family model like GGOF. But in Microsoft, we love you. We love Honest. So this time you can use Microsoft Oliver to convert the Honest model or quantization model to do this. Of course, many people say, okay, when I quantization and conversion finish, how to deploy it? Maybe we have the different scenario in cloud. You can use the container to do this. Another is very amazing is you can deploy the model in the mobile devices, just like you use the iPhone, Android. You can use the 5 family model to do this, like the 5.4 mini. I do this application. Another is you can use the 500 logo to deploy the 5 model in the Windows and Mac OS environment. Of course, you can deploy in the IoT, just like the Jetson Nano, Jetson Orange, and Vshot Pi is okay. So you can use the 5 model to create the some amazing application with the Gen AI applications. Yeah.
That's cool. So can we zoom in to perhaps how one would do this for a phone, for example? Because I like this, but maybe we can zoom in a little bit. And I think you brought a slide here. Can you explain what we're looking at here?
Yes. This is my iPhone 12 Pro. iPhone 12 Pro is the old devices.
Yeah.
It not have some GPU and NPU support. But this time, if I want to deploy the 5.4 mini in Sharp, how to do this? The first use Microsoft Oliver to convert the 5.4 or mini in Sharp be on this model. Of course, you can quantization the info or FP16. Another is you can use the fine-tuning model to do this, and then you can run it and deploy it in the iPhone 12 Pro.
So sorry to interrupt. So what you're saying is that you can take the 5.4 mini instruct, do the Olive auto, and then put it into this thing. And let me hit play here to see what happens. So this is all running locally.
Yes, it's running local. You can see I use the log network. Why we use the SLM? Because we have some scenario is offline. So you can see that iPhone 12 is the offline. You can use you can call, or you can use the 5.4 mini or inference 5.4 mini in the offline scenario or in your mobile phone. You can see that it's good performance because can you introduce yourself? This is good. But many people say this is just a talk, but if I want to do some complex question or something, what is the performance? You can see that another I will ask. I will let the 5.4 minute to display some very easy question, but just like 1 plus 1 is means 2. This is a very easy question, but I think let the 5.4 minute to give you the good answer. You can see the result. When I finish this application, I say, my God, it can let the 5.4 minute to run in the CPU in the old devices. It's very, very amazing.
Yeah, here, let me put my face up because this is cool because there's like certain things you can do with this. That's awesome. That's embedded in the application. How big is the model on disk when you're actually laying it down in the application? Like, is it like gigabytes? How big is it?
2 gig.
That's
2 gig.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's like less than a movie. I mean, it's pretty cool that it's that size. So what other things can you do with this technology that might be interesting? I think you brought a demo of here. Let me see. Let me bring this up here. Of something for MCP, right?
Yeah. I think this time many people to talk about MCP. We always say SLM can deploy it in the edge devices. You can see that. Why we how to use the SLM? Because we want to call the MCP service. Just like here, I use 5.4 mini as MCP client. You can deploy it in the edge devices. You can use different tools. Just like here, I use the Olama and VLM to help me to deploy the 5.4 mini and then to call the MCP service, including the STDIO and SSE to support that. I think this time we can show many this sample to some people. Yeah.
Let's do it. So let me tell, because you brought a demo. So I'm gonna play this, and then I'll ask you questions after it's done. Okay.
Okay, let's see our sample about 5.4 mini to MCP application. The first, I think you need to deploy your 5.4 mini with different tools. Because if you run a 5.4 mini, you can directly to use Olama, VRM. Of course, you can use the Foundry local tool. So you need to set the different endpoint here because our sample can support different tools to do this. Another, we need to set different support because MCP can support SSE or STDIO. So this time you need to set this. And the last, you can see how to run it with the Olama or the VLM. This is very easy because just like you call the different API to do this, you need to convert something to support MCP because 5.4 mini not directly to support MCP. You need to convert some argument to do this, and then we can run it to try it. Please see that here we have some environment here. Let me clear this, and then activate my MCP dev. Maybe this is the Python sample. You can let the local environment can install will install many MCP library support library or something just like the MCP, just like some Olama API. You can do this, and then we can run it just like here. We can run it this sample. This sample default to call Olama endpoint, and then to use the playwright. You can set some point to let the playwright to do something just like the navigation, some website, or give you some screenshot. Here I set this point, navigation to github.com. This is very easy prompt because I want to let the browser to navigation my to the github.com. Okay, you can see a Chrome browser is open, and or go to the github.com. Thank you.
I mean, that's amazing. Like, you basically, from a local box, you basically create a client that 5.4 mini was able to call out and do stuff like open a browser window. Am I getting this right?
Yes, this I think you can extension this application because you can use the 5.4 to help you to build your local AI board to help you to control everything in your local environment. Yeah.
That's amazing. So the last thing I want to ask you, because this has been, by the way, I'm going to summarize the end because you laid a lot of information on us. Is there a way to make the model more precise, to make it better for me, for example, if I have my own data that I want to bring to it?
Yes, I think this time many people will talk about, okay, 5.4 is just the SLM. If I want to do some specific scenario, how to do this? Just I build in the Microsoft Build workshop this year. We do this sample. The first we use some distillation, use the DeepSeek or some large language model to help us to finish some data distillation, and then use the 5.4 or mini instruct to fine-tuning. But some people say, okay, I want to fine-tuning is very hard, but I will introduce the very good tools, Microsoft Oliver, to do this, because it just use the command line to finish this. Like you can use the fine-tuning or optimize and quantization with the Microsoft Oliver just the command line. You can follow this link and to check it, to read the robot, to finish this. I think it's very easy. Another is if you want to, after finish the fighting, if you want to deploy it, you can use Azure Machine Learning to register your model and manage your different model and deploy it in your local environment. Of course, we love you to use our 5G local to finish this, because you can use the 5G local to deploy the frightening model with your application. You can use it to finish some Windows application or some desktop application to do this. It's very cool. So don't forget to use to read this repo after this session. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have it right here. I have a link right here. So I want to summarize because I want people to understand like all the goodness that you laid on us.
Yeah.
You told us that Phi was not just a single model; it's multiple modalities, all the way from regular text generation to image to audio, reasoning models, etc. even tool callings in there. Then you showed us how these models were made faster with the Flash and Samba Y. You showed us how these can be deployed to devices so that you can use them locally. And then you showed us how these local executions can use function calling to call out to an MCP server. And then there was more. And then you showed us, the last thing was you showed us how to actually fine tune this model using distillation. So did I get all those steps right?
Yeah. I think, yes, thanks, Steve. Yeah, your summarize is very good. I think I want to join AI Show many times to share more SLM cases. Yeah.
I love it. So if you want to learn more, there's a Fight Cookbook, aka.ms Fight Cookbook. Make sure you go to that. And then also there's something that Kinfey mentioned in passing, but Foundry Local makes it really nice to actually download these models and use them with a local endpoint so that you're still using them locally. It's very nice. Kinfey, thank you so much for being with us, my friend.
Thanks, Seth. Give me to join this show. I love this. Yeah.
I love it. And thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about how to unlock the power of small language models, my friend Kinfey. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.
Okay.
All right, how awesome was that? The cool thing about Kinfey is his enthusiasm is absolutely amazing. The thing that struck me most was how much, like, I just thought 5 was like a model, one model, but it turns out there's a family of models that does a bunch of stuff. And the cool bit about that was not only how I could use it locally, how I could use it on edge devices, but he went through the entire gamut of like why it's cool, how it's getting faster, how we can use it, and even did a little cool MCP thing where it was calling out to MCP endpoints or MCP tools. That's a better word, directly from that local model. All right. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Next time on the AI show, I don't even know what is next on the AI show. Let me get my calendar out here to see what's going on. Not sure what's next on the AI show. Oh, yes, on the 22nd of September. We don't have any guests, so I might be live coding some stuff. There is some new prompty stuff that I'm working on that I want to show you. And hopefully we can maybe talk a little bit about that, and I can show you what the next evolution of that is looking like for agentic things. So if I had a little gap there, it was like, so that's the 22nd of September, and maybe we might have a guest come in between now and then. Who knows? But as always, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate every second of it you spend with us here on the AI Show Live. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.